Okay, today I thought we'd do something a little bit different. It may look quite beautiful with the sun shining, but I have my ice warning flashing, and hopefully you can hear me through my neck tube, which is keeping my face warm. And so we're close to freezing here, and I've got about 250 mile ride. And today I thought I'd talk about something that's not always that sexy, and that's just some basic road riding skills. So the first thing I want to say is wrap up warm. It's pretty obvious. I've got 5 layers on today for my thorax. I've got inner gloves, outer winter gloves, and I've got heated grips. Some of you might think that's a bit wimpy, but I would say if you're warm and comfortable, then you can focus and also enjoy the ride much more. Just common sense really, isn't it? Okay, we're just waiting for Jerry now. Okay, next thing I want to say is take it easy for the first few miles. Your engine's colder than usual, being kind of wintry, and you may be require maybe a bit more sleepier, require a few minutes to wake up. More importantly, your tyres will take a little bit longer to warm up. And if you've ever high-sided on cold tyres, and I speak from personal experience, it's not something you're keen to experience again. So just take it easy, ease into the ride a little bit. Got nothing to prove. He who gets there last still gets there. No point being the fastest man in all the damn cemetery. I'm just starting to ease the tyres in, go from the white line to the centre line. Not particularly tight corner, just even when you can ride safely down the middle of the road, always a good time to practice your lines while you're riding that little bit slowly. I'm always thinking 1 or 2 streets ahead, like a game of snooker, trying to figure out what's coming up, where the hazards might be, how can I get through the traffic the quickest and the safest way. So I've got a right hand turn coming up here, the lane's going to split into 2. I have to be aware that I've got oncoming traffic from the left rather, and I'm already looking left, can see there's no traffic. I'm giving up a bit of road space just in case somebody switches lane. I'm avoiding that mess in the middle of the road there, looking over my shoulder, not just relying on my mirrors, and we're away. I can see there's a roundabout coming up here, and for American viewers, you might not be that too familiar with roundabouts. The Brits kind of grew up on them. If you're going straight on a roundabout, no need for turn signals, just be aware of what's coming from your left and your right. Stick to your lane, take it easy, stick on cold tyres, smoothly through, no problems. If you're going beyond 12 o'clock, you should use your turn indicator to indicate that you're going round the roundabout, and your turn indicator again to indicate when you're exiting the roundabout. Left turn up here. I could get ahead of this car, but it would just piss him off. No point pissing car drivers off. We want them to be on our side and give us some leeway, give us some space, give us some respect. Can't do that if you don't respect them. And remember, the speed you're travelling at often seem really scary if you're in a car watching them, even though it can feel dog slow on the bike. So just when you come up against vehicles, important to harmonise your speed with them. Now I'm sitting back a bit from this vehicle so that I can see all the hazards in front of it and around it. It's not blocking my view in any way. And I'm staying closer to the centre line so that if something accidentally pulls out this hidden turning on my right there, I've got all the space in the world to avoid it. Think of my bike as one big polarised magnet, and it's repelling anything hard and solid in my close quarters. Now there's 2 cars here, they're both slow cars compared with the bike anyway, so I'm going to switch lanes here. Even though when I turn left I want to turn right, I know I have the power to weight ratios to out accelerate them without having to accelerate hard, and that's just going to get me a couple of cars ahead. And there may only be a couple of cars, but when you're doing 250 miles, if at the end of every street or every road you can get a couple of cars ahead, that's really going to help you with your swift and steady progress. as the Metropolitan Police say. Look at that beautiful tree. Gotta love these fall colours. Georgia's kind of skip straight from summer to winter. This is a bit annoying, a bit frustrating, but still, nice day for a ride. Got temperatures in the 30s. It's a beautiful, dry, sunny day. I don't think we've got any rain forecast, but both Jerry and I got the Gore-Tex suits on to keep warm. Got the heated grips on, as I said, and neck tubes. And the idea is to not be distracted by other things. You know, when you're riding, you don't want to be distracted that your clothes are getting wet or you're starting to feel cold. You really want to be aware. So I'm already looking at the sign up there showing that it's going to ask the pedestrians to stop. So I'm putting it in gear. I'm ready for my green light. I'm looking left and right to see what's happening with the traffic. Nothing coming, all the traffic is stopped. I'm on a green, I'm away. I've got a power to weight ratio compared with the cars next to me. I'm looking in my mirror, I'm looking over my shoulder, put my turn signal on. I'm slowly changing lanes smoothly. You need to change lanes like your Marquez. It make no difference. Okay, I'm looking left, no traffic. Smoothly onto the ramp. I'm already thinking about my speed on the ramp. I don't want to rush up against the cars ahead of me, because that's going to slow me down, bunch me up. Then I've got to worry about traffic in front of me and traffic behind me. I've got nothing in front of me. I'm looking to my left. I have a police car up ahead. I have to be aware of that, both in terms of my lane discipline and joining the freeway, making sure I get away from the police car and the incident. Looks like he's just stopped somebody for speeding. Another thing to be aware of. And my Waze is telling me that there's a police car stopped there. If you don't use Waze for GPS, I'd urge you to. I use the Garmin as a backup. I've used Google Maps, I've used Scenic, I've used TomToms and Garmin's. I've used a whole host of GPS units and different software, and my favourite is Waze, really, because being a community product, it really helps you know where police incidents are, debris in the road, and because it can use its Google algorithms, it can work out whether an alternate route might be quicker for you. So if you haven't used Waze yet, check it out. Use it in the car, use it on the bike. It's a winner chicken dinner. In fact, Ford are using it for their 2019 models as standard. I get a little bit of turbulence off the screen today. Keep the speed down, because who knows, that police car might have just gotten back in his car and assumed the biker is going to be speeding up ahead. He can zoom up behind us without us knowing and nick us of speeding. So there's something in the middle of the road there in the white line, just giving that plenty of room. I'm on the freeway now. Normally on the side roads I'm riding closer to the centre line so that people in side turns can see me easier. On the freeway I'm closer to the centre of my lane. That's because people have bad lane discipline, and even with police monitoring and lane wandering devices these days, you still have people that don't look over their shoulder, don't check their mirrors, don't put their turn indicators on, and just pull out in front of you. So you want to give yourself the maximum safety space both on your left and on your right too. One thing I try to do on long rides like this is ensure that I'm perfectly relaxed. So my neck and shoulder and back are all relaxed, my arms are super relaxed. I'm holding the handlebars with a light grip. I think of it as like grip wise, it's like holding a small bird in your hand. You're holding it to suffice that it can't escape, but you're not holding it so much that you're crushing it. That's about the right grip level that you want on your handlebars, to ensure you don't get numbing hand vibes, and that you have good control and you're not getting tense in your body, which is helping you stay relaxed and focused on what's important. There's a lot of cars to my right, not many cars to my left, so I'm just going to change lane, give myself that extra safety margin. So any of those cars can suddenly realise I'm not turning off exit 10 there, swerve back into my lane if I was in that second lane. So sometimes it's just safer to be in an outer lane and just basically give yourself space. A policeman who trained me as a civilian, you know, maybe 20 years ago, he once said face a space, and I think that's very good advice. If you face a space, you can't hit anything. Okay, so it's like getting target fixation on something. You don't want to face solid objects or get fixated on a solid object. You really want to face a space at all times possible, within reason, because that will always give you plenty of room to avoid hitting anything solid and get out of danger. On a hill here, and at the top of the hill I can't see beyond that car very easily in front of me, so what I'm doing is I'm looking through it. That's right, I'm looking for its back windscreen and its front windscreen to see the cars ahead, see what they're up to, whether they're changing lanes, whether they're swerving, whether there's an accident. You see a car on my right hand side here. Is it police, or is it just broken down? Is it in a place that could cause a hazard for a vehicle passing it? Just a simple breakdown. But these are the kind of things I'm thinking about in my head, and I'm not thinking about it when I get to it, I'm thinking about it a long way ahead, so that if I need to take avoidance action, then it's all in hand. Waze is telling me the construction is here. Another good reason to have Waze on your phone. Anything that can extra that can alert you that there might be people walking across the road, or police cars up ahead, increased speed fines, all that kind of jazz. Good to know. I can see the police car up ahead. So all you guys with semi-active suspension who just tend to find a setting that you like and leave it there, I'd urge you to play with it a bit more, be a bit more dynamic with it. So for instance, at the moment, if I press suspension, I'm in soft ESA mode at present because I'm on the freeway. I just want a nice cushiony soft ride. I'm thinking well ahead, and I know the exit up here, when getting off, is a big circular kind of 360. It's a little bit bumpy mid-corner, so I'm just going to adjust the suspension to hard, just to ensure that it's sufficient damping as I go around this corner. Some wet stuff on the left, so I'm avoiding that. Just tightening my line. Let my line slack again, so I've got a wider arc. You want wide in, tight out, tight at the apex here, out. It's always wide in, tight out, slow in, fast out. I'm looking over my shoulder, a lifesaver as we call that in England. And that's very important, because just like blind spots in the car, your mirrors only tell you so much. And if you've not been constantly paying attention to your mirrors and you just give them a cursory glance, you can find yourself pulling over as some 5-litre Mustang thunders past you, and that ain't good. So I'm checking out my GPS. I can see in under a mile I'm going to be turning right, so I'm figuring out, am I going to be ahead of that van and white car ahead, or am I going to need to rein it back? Well, I can see they're already breaking the speed limit, so I'm going to just fall in behind them. No point racing ahead of them. Down to less than half a mile now anyway. So I'm just moving over to the centre of my lane because I've got a van moving up on my left. Now I'll move back more to the centre of the entire road. Maximises my visibility of seeing other vehicles and of them seeing me. Now I'm getting ready to turn right, so I put my turn indicator on, and looking well ahead for oncoming traffic that's going to come across into our side road. It doesn't look like we have any, so I'm focusing more on this van ahead, making sure it doesn't do anything crazy. Putting my turn indicator on, checking my mirror, checking over my shoulder, switching lanes so I can get ahead of this van. Giving the van a bit of room and just slowing down for the lights. One thing with commercial vehicles like vans is, if you've ever driven a large vehicle, you'll know that visibility is sometimes difficult. The vehicles are sometimes harder to control, you need more room on the road, and spotting other vehicles is sometimes tricky. So one thing that's important is to see whether you can see the driver in their mirrors. If you can see them, they can see you. So if you can't get ahead or drop back behind them, try and get yourself in a road position where you can see them in the mirrors, because then they can see you. And if they're a good driver and check their mirrors before putting on their turn signals and changing lanes, then they will spot you and think better of it, or adjust their speed so that they can harmonise with you, and that's very important. Turning left up here, so I'm just checking nothing behind me that's coming up at 1,000 miles an hour, 0.2 of a mile away, putting my turn indicator on, just smoothly run into the slip road. I'm looking well ahead. On the venture bikes you sit nice and tall, so you can see oncoming traffic very easily, which is a godsend, and one major advantage of adventure bikes over sports bikes, for instance. So I can peer over that hill very easily, see hazards very easily. Now, a bit of local knowledge, I know there's a side turning here. See, that wasn't very obvious, and I know that because a pickup truck pulled out on me the other week there. So that's important. Now we're in the fall, so we might have some fallen leaves. Those leaves might be wet, and we're close to freezing, so could be a couple of ice patches. So taking it a bit easier than normal, but I'm still taking the same lines. I'm going out kind of to where the curb would be, I'm going back to the middle of the road, maximising how far I can see around this corner, I'm avoiding the crappy bits of the road there. Again, I'm running out to the edge of the road, I'm looking way around the corner already, aim to hit the apex and keep it in the middle of my lane. There's a child up ahead. Unfortunately, looks like he's waiting, he's well aware of the traffic. Looks like an air balloon, that's cool. Alright, at the stops there, I try not to come to a complete stop. It's just a waste of energy and momentum in the bike and gas and all the rest of it stuff. Try and come to an almost complete stop and then just pull smoothly away. Again, I'm rolling it from the centre of the road out to the edge of the road, wide in. I've given up road position there because of that F250 or whatever it was, so I'm going wide in, tight out. Okay. Giving up road positioning and back to my actual positioning, and you want slow in, fast out. So you actually want to be rolling on the throttle a little bit as you go through the corner. As you're hitting that apex, you kind of want to really be off the throttle coming up. So I'm kind of off the throttle to steady now, accelerating through. Accelerating through. The vehicle should be under power at all times. It should be under load, basically. So you should be braking, or you should be accelerating, really. You don't really want to be just coasting along, because the vehicle's not under control then, it's just doing its own thing. Morning! Lovely day! Let's go. So I'm watching this white van ahead of me. It's turning left. I just pushed up my visor there just to give myself even better clarity the oncoming traffic that might just turn across my path. Oh, what a beautiful morning. So we're up to the giddy heights of 40 degrees now. Woo! I'm not feeling cold, thankfully, but still probably doing my pecker no favours. Now here's a potential hazard ahead. We've got a van, looks like it's got about half a dozen or more. Actually, looks like he's got about 8 long ladders on top of his roof rack. And if you ever bashed a ladder against your shin, you know it freaking hurts, right? So the last thing you want to do is have an altercation with one at 40-50 miles an hour. So give him a bit of room as I do this truck. Nice wide line through there, and normally be tighter. And maximising the distance I'm away from that truck. Remember, you're a big magnet repelling solid objects. So back to this van. I'm looking to see how well secure those ladders are, whether they're moving around a lot. It probably doesn't show up on screen, but the stack on the right is actually wobbling a bit. The stack to the left isn't, but the stack to the right is, and they're both kind of not tied on very symmetrically. They're both kind of tied on pointing into each other. And that might mean that if he forgets he's got his ladders up there and he goes around a corner at speed, they might be coming flying my way. So, however unlikely, I've already thought that's a possibility, and I'm maybe giving just an extra few bike lengths longer than I would do normally, just in case. Additionally, it's a big vehicle and it's now a high vehicle, so it's difficult to look around big high vehicles. So again, drop back. You've got the pound to weight ratio. You can make up the speed anytime you like. So bide your time, sit back, let them sort it out, and then when you get your opportunity, you overtake it or progress on when he takes a different road. Well, one way to increase your safety is to not rely on fully, but use as a reference your GPS. I can see on my GPS that I only have one junction on the right here, so I'm going to look in, make sure a car doesn't come out of there, and then the road has no side turnings, only a few houses, and there's a nice gradual curve to it up ahead, which lets me get my suspension right, my gearing right, my speed right. Just like I say, you can't rely on it 1000%. You know, it's a map at the end of the day. You've got to trust your eyes, what you see ahead of you, but it can help you as an additional reference, and you want to use all the tools you can. So this is a hard stop. I'm looking over my left hand shoulder, and I'm good to proceed. So I can see on my GPS, this is more of a, not quite 90 degree, but it's sharper. So making sure I get my line good. I'm right over by the white line. I'm peeling in down to the apex, accelerating smoothly through. I'm over on the centre line. I'm going to go up a little bit of my line because there's oncoming traffic. I've got a stop sign. Pulling over more to the centre of the lane again. Get ready for my four-way stop. I've just been in the centre here, make sure that I can see in all directions easily and they can see me easily. Left and right is good, smoothly through, keep looking left and right. Alright, this is a beautiful house, I think. I like that. That'll do me. See the grass there? It's wet or frosty in shaded areas. That's what you're really concerned about in some of the shaded bends. They look beautiful, but you go around a corner, somewhere in the shade, somewhere where the wind blows, there's always potential for ice or at least still wet roads that are cold and damp and potentially slippery from autumn leaves. You've got to think of these things. People aren't going to tell you these things. You need to think of them in your head and work them out for yourself, and then you need to practice them as a mantra. You need to think about them very conscientiously every time you ride in these wintry conditions. I think we'll give you a bit of room. Oh my lord. He's on down the road. So, when you look along the road here, I don't know if it'll come up on camera, but we've got plenty of tar snakes, as they say locally, which is the mastic overbanding on the asphalt or the road here, on the tarmac, and that stuff is slippery as anything when it rains. You really have to watch your tyres on that, but also it can be slippery just when it's cold. People only think that it's slippery when it's wet, to coin a Bon Jovi phrase, but in actual fact, just when it's cold and your tyres are cold, you can really be in trouble on those. And in fact, that's how I high-sided a good 25 years ago or so on cold tyres in winter. Thankfully, tyre technology has moved on a little bit. I've moved on a little bit, but unfortunately, the way they patch up the road cheaply hasn't. So let's be aware of that. Checking over my shoulder. You know, when you're checking over your shoulder like that and the traffic coming from the left, it's really important not to lose sight that you've got traffic in front of you. You know, how many people do you know have said, oh, I ran in the back of somebody at a junction. I looked at them and they moved ahead, and I looked left and there's nothing coming, so I went, but the car in front of me had stopped and I went in the back of them. That's food for thought. Bad enough doing that in your car, both for you and the unfortunate person you hit. You don't want to do it in your bike. You don't want to do it in your bike and have your big 300 kilo heavy bike land on your leg. That would be quite unpleasant. Now I've got very slow moving people carrier in front of me, and we're out in the sticks. I'm looking at my GPS. I can see there's no real major junctions or turnings up here. We're in the middle of nowhere. And so, once I'm away from residential houses and potential hazards, I am going to overtake this vehicle. I may have to do it on a double yellow line, and some people will frown on that, and I respect their view. And you know, you overtake where and where when you think it's safe for you to do so. But for me, I judge the road conditions, the road layout, weather conditions, vehicles on the road, and decide when is the most appropriate and safest time to respectfully overtake them. And when I say respectfully, I mean when you overtake a vehicle, that vehicle should never ever have to take avoidance action as a result of your overtake. They shouldn't have to be braking, shouldn't have to be swerving, shouldn't have to be doing anything indifferent just because you decided you'd sooner be ahead of them. You've got to harmonise with traffic. If you respect traffic, traffic will respect you, and bikers will get a good name rather than a bad rep. So one thing the GPS isn't telling me is these hills, so my visibility is not good there. The visibility is great here, but I've got oncoming traffic, so I've just got to bide my time, not get impatient, not sit on the bumper of this people carrier. That will do me no favours whatsoever. When I sit back like this, I can see the hazards up ahead, and believe me, the last thing you want to do is not see this hazard coming and hit it head on. You'll be in serious trouble. So I have a junction half a mile ahead, so I've decided I'm simply not going to overtake. What's the point? Sit back, enjoy the ride. This is a journey, it's a trip, it's fun. Right, got another one of those funny little roundabout things up ahead. I put my turn signal on early because I'm going right, and I'm looking well ahead left of me for traffic that's shooting up that's not in my view at present. I can see the traffic ahead. There's going to be no traffic on the roundabout, nothing left of me, so I can just peel off right really easily. So again, I'm thinking ahead now. I'm not turning for another mile, but one thing I'm thinking about is when I turn left up here, am I going to have to stop for oncoming traffic? And if I am, if I have traffic behind me, is it going to see me in time? And that means that if I stop by the centre of the road where I'd like to, I might be tempted for a car to come zooming up behind me, filter down the side of me at speed and actually clip me. But then if I sit in the middle of the road, I have greater visibility from the car from behind, but they're more likely to hit me if they are not paying attention. So these things go through my mind. I can see the junction well ahead now, a third of a mile away. It's given me thinking time, the way I want to play it. Fortunately there's nothing behind me, so I can choose whatever nice line I like going through here because I have no oncoming traffic. So I'm going to take it nice and wide, nice and slow, take my time, smoothly round. A beautiful old building, all covered in vines and derelict, beautifully characterful. Do you know, people don't want to ride in winter, and they're really missing out. You know, most people don't get in their cars in winter unless they have an absolute need to, a necessity to. They're not going out just for the hell of it. It's a nice day, we'll have a drive somewhere. We're sat at home, and that means the roads are like this, empty. And that's just beautiful, beautiful to ride in. You don't have to be doing 1,000 miles an hour. We're trundling along 60 here. So pleasant, sun shining. I happen to have good winter clothing on and a nice screen in front of me. I don't feel remotely cold, even though the temperatures dip back down to the 30s. I'm lovely and warm, and I'm just thoroughly enjoying the ride. I mean, it could be a pleasant summer's day as far as I'm concerned. And in terms of the lack of traffic, that's just great. That just means you have a nice smooth flow to your ride. And it's a great opportunity if if you're keeping speeds down in the winter to practice your lines, right? Whether you're riding in the rain or you're riding a bit slower just because it's a bit cold or you're cold or conditions are a bit icy, and make sure you're really hitting those lines, you know. Nice smooth wide lines, wide in, tight out, slow in, fast out. Beautiful. I love riding. You're never going to get in the car and do this, are you? You're never going to think, oh, let's just ride 250 miles in the car just for the sheer hell of it. Let's just go nowhere. No particular place to go. It's just not going to happen in the main, you know. But on a bike, hell yeah. Hell, it doesn't even need a friend to ride with. It's just so nice being out here, clearing your head, forgetting about work, forgetting about home, forgetting about your troubles. Right, loads of visibility ahead, indicating early, giving this car a wide berth, past him, nice and smooth, it's not having to brake, it's not having to adjust his line, and there's absolutely no reason why that should be anything other than perfectly legal overtake. It's super safe for the car driver, super safe for you. You're able to make good steady progress. And that's one reason I like policemen. Policemen are our friends. They have something we call discretion. They know that if you are, hammering along at 40 miles an hour outside of school on a wet Wednesday afternoon when it's kicking out time, you deserve the book thrown at you. But if it's a nice, beautiful, sunny, clear day with dry roads and visibility for miles and no junctions and one car ahead of you, sure, have at it, overtake it. As long as you don't piss that car driver off, as long as you respect their space and give them courtesy. And the policeman's just going to say, you shouldn't really do it, think about it, do it at the right time. But he's very unlikely to book you for that. He'll just let you off with a warning. That said, don't write to me if you get a citation. God, I'm thoroughly enjoying this ride. If you haven't ridden your bike for a while, you think it's too cold outside, you are wrong. You are wrong. Just put some layers on. Today I've got a long sleeve t-shirt, not a short sleeve t-shirt. I have a nice thick fleece, not a thin fleece. I have a nice little body warmer vest thing on top of that, and then I have my Gore-Tex jacket, which has a inner winter liner and an outer Gore-Tex cover. Yeah, I'm toasty, I'm lovely. Well, That's the way it should be. Think about it. Think about it. If you ride and you're cold, then that's your fault. You put the wrong clothing on for conditions. Check the weather forecast. Check an hour by hour weather forecast. And wear the appropriate clothing. You don't need to look cool when you're 80 miles from home and you don't know anybody and they don't know you. You just need to be comfortable. That means keeping warm and dry. Right? Now ideally, if you live in somewhere like I do where the temperature range fluctuates a lot, now giving up road space, you need to, you know, have some way of carrying a change of clothing if you can. Unfortunately I've got two big metal bin panniers and I've got a whole different suit in actual fact in my panniers. In fact, I think I've got some waterproof trousers and I've got a totally different Gore-Tex suit that's lighter weight for warmer temperatures. So if it warms up this afternoon, I can switch suits. I can just do it. And that's lovely, and that's a luxury not everybody has, but everybody can afford a rock strap or a bungee cord or a luggage net, right? Everybody, almost everybody, has a pillion seat and is not taking a pillion on their ride. So you really have no excuses. Just shove a, you know, take a plastic bag and a luggage rack or some bungee cords on your back seat, ride around a bit, temperature warms up, take some layers off, shove them in a plastic bag, just bungee them to your back seat. Job done. Now don't come up with, you know, silly excuses for not riding your bike. You know, if you have to come up with silly excuses for not riding a bike, maybe riding a bike isn't for you, and that's fair enough, it isn't for everybody. But one thing I would say is the more you ride your bike, the more you love it. When you're not riding your bike, you're thinking either about changing it for something else or giving up. And either way, it's going to cost you money. so you know, just get out there and ride. Doesn't matter what you ride. No matter whether your bike costs $250 or 25,000 bucks. It's there, you bought it to use it you should. Don't let it be a dry weather queen sat in the garage until it's 80 degrees and you're riding and you complain that you're sweating, right? Get out there while the weather's beautiful, particularly spring and the fall. For most places it's a lovely time to ride. Right, sign says 35 miles an hour, my GPS says 85 miles an hour, so I figure it's somewhere in between. And it, yeah, kind of is. So that's one area where you can use all the tools. Use the road signs, use your GPS, use your eyes. You need to use everything to build up a mental picture of the safest way to attack whatever is ahead of you. Well, attack sounds aggressive, but you know what I mean, to be prepared for whatever is ahead of you. It really doesn't matter whether you're on a small capacity cruiser or fast multi-cylinder sports bike. You need to be thinking of all those things. It's just that the concentration levels and speed that you need to think them at change depending on the capability of the machine and your experience and the speed at which you're travelling. Some really beautiful horse farms out this way, I must admit. Look at that sky. That's what I love about Georgia. God, I love Georgia. There's just not a cloud in the sky, literally. It's that massive, massive blue sky. And even though the temperature's not the best, look at it. Just makes you feel happy to be alive. Anyway, I'm going to shut this video down shortly. I don't think you want to hear me waffle on forever. I just want to give you a few food for thought things to think about. It's really important to, you know, think about these things conscientiously and you know, build them into your riding. Every time you ride, every corner you take, every junction you come up against, every hazard you see, you need to be thinking, you know, clearly. Crossing a bridge, well, the wind blows across bridges, is there going to be any ice? That kind of thing. Just think about it in a very proactive way. Work out these things for yourself and focus on them, and that, my friends, is what's going to keep you alive. Safe riding. Last but not least, ride often, ride carefully, ride on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate all your feedback and support for the Ride On channel. I hope you're already a Ride On subscriber, but if not, please subscribe straight away. And last but not least, ride often, ride carefully, ride on.